And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, March 24th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Monday morning, cloudy and overcast, but rather warm out there, and we're looking forward to a spring week here. Each Monday morning, we get started off by talking about Absolute Kubota. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main here in Lebanon. Their phone number is 615-449-6171. And it's there at 1506 West Main where you'll find Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs. And, of course, they carry the Kubota mowers, the zero-turn mowers, as well as Exmark mowers. Exmark is one of the top-selling zero-turn mowers in the country, and they provide sales and service. You can get that service done, and if you haven't gotten ready for spring yet, you might want to get on the ball here and to get rolling, because it's just about time to start cutting the grass. A lot of people have already had a cutting or two here. We'll remind you that Absolute Kubota is open Monday through Friday from 7 to 6 until 5 during the winter, 7 to 4 on Saturdays, and conveniently located there at 1325 West Main. Just look for their big sign or the orange tractors or all the other orange equipment that you will find right there. Your property, your equipment, your budget, your Kubota. That's what we want to talk about. And whether you're taking care of your own property or you're running a commercial landscaping business, Kubota zero-turn mowers perform at the highest level, delivering stunning results that you can depend on with features that ensure comfortable working conditions for you or your crew. And there's so much to see there. Kubota does offer versatility, visibility, value. From dusk till dawn, Kubota's subcompact and compact tractors lead the way for livestock chores, property maintenance, and more. And with sleek designs for improved visibility, dependable power, cleaner emissions, and unbeatable financing. You'll find all of this right there at Absolute Kubota. They are determined to give you more tractor for your money. You can get up and go and experience the low-rate, long-term financing that goes on all the time there at Absolute Kubota. And another thing we want to mention this morning is the Red Max outdoor power equipment. And I have a little information on that to share with you here on this Monday morning. If I can find it, I don't know what I did with it. Yes, here we go. Red Max outdoor power equipment is versatile. It's lightweight. It is powerful and has been the choice of professionals for over 20 years. The Strato-charged engine is up to 20% more fuel efficient without compromising power to save you money, and it's available only from Red Max. And with the efficient engine design, Red Max has a chainsaw, grass trimmer, leaf blower, edger, or hedge clipper for every landscaping need around your home without polluting the neighborhood. So visit your Red Max dealer right there at 1325 West Main, Absolute Kubota here in Lebanon. Give them a call, 615-449-6171, and see why you just can't beat the quality of Red Max. Well, they have a nice staff of people at Absolute Kubota too. Of course, headed up by Matt Bryson. Matt is the owner, and I think he's been a businessman since he was a teenager. Actually, if my memory is right, if the story is clear in my mind, Matt probably started a lawn mowing business and has gone from there. But he and the team at Absolute Kubota are determined to provide you whatever you need and all we've talked about this morning. We like to remind you can write it off their lot. You can write it off your taxes. They have everything from weed eaters to hay balers. And again, open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to noon. their website, www.absolutekubota.com. We talk to Clint Kelly quite often, who handles the service department. There's also Ryan Cornwell in sales. Ryan pays us a visit from time to time, as well as Matt Bryson, of course. And I believe Ben Spurlock takes care of the seed and fertilizer. Well, that's what you'll find at Absolute Kubota, and we hope you'll pay them a visit and keep them in mind for your equipment needs, for maintenance as well. 1506 West Main here in Lebanon, Tennessee. Absolute Kubota. All right, we're just about 10 minutes after the hour here on a Monday morning, and State Representative Clark Boyd joins us at this time, and we want to welcome you and say good morning.
Hey, good morning, Coleman. How are you today?
Well, I've been a little long-winded, haven't I?
You have. I heard you on the radio coming in. I said I need to get in there and.
Well, we miss our representative this morning. Usually they're either here or call in, but that's okay. We're glad to see you, and I have an idea. You have really a lot to tell us this morning.
Oh, Coleman, things are picking up pace, and I've got plenty of things to talk about. I could do 45 minutes this morning if you need me to, but a lot of good things going on with the legislature. This last week, I did close down my committee.
Okay.
We had told all the members that was the final calendar. And, of course, sometimes you'll have a final calendar, which means you will not allow any additional bills to be heard in the committee. But if you run out of time, then, of course, you'll meet the next week to finish up. But we actually finished with about a minute to spare. And so we are done for the year with business utilities, subject to the call of the chair. And I have told people I'm not opening that committee again. Every year, somebody comes along with a sad story about a bill they forgot to put on notice. Coleman, every year.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for them, and I talk to the speaker, and I open the committee back up, and it always gets off the rails. And every year I say, I'm not doing it again. These are always the worst bills that show up. And so a member came to me the other day, and I said, no, sir. You can file it in 2026. I'm not opening it back up.
There have been some controversial things. There's been some demonstrations. A lot has had to do with schools, for one thing. I don't know how much of that you've been directly involved in. I don't even know if you want to go there this morning, but probably our listeners would like a brief reminder here of what's happened.
Well, I don't. I think I know what you're talking about. I have a bill in education, but I don't think that's the bill you're talking about. Let me tell you about my bill. Right. I think what you're talking about, there have been a couple of bills this year that would make allowances for LEAs, which is the local school districts, to decide if they wanted to. I think one of the bills, I think, either says that you can ask the students to provide their citizenship papers, and if they don't, then you don't have to admit them.
Yeah.
And it would be permissive for the local school district to do that. The other bill says that if they're non-citizens, then you could ask them to pay tuition like you would if someone from Kentucky wanted to go to school in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And so I have been so busy with my committee that I am aware of that from the news, and I have walked through crowds of protesters trying to get to other committees, but I have not heard either one of those bills yet. Okay. And so I will try to learn more about that. I mean, I only know what I have heard, what I have seen on TV, and like I said, I've seen the crowd, but I can tell you about my education bill.
Tell us about your education.
So I don't know if I told you a couple of weeks ago, but I had heard from Director of Schools Jeff Luttrell and a few of the board members and teachers in general that they just feel like our standardized tests, which were helpful. Haslam was big on that, Governor Haslam, and he really brought education up quite a bit. I mean, not only with direct investment in public education, but with accountability and changes to the tenure laws. And Tennessee started moving up, and we're doing a lot better. However, we have reached a point now to where, my goodness, we do nothing but test, it seems like. I mean, Jeff told me that from now to the end of the school year, there's not 2 days goes by that there's not some standardized test going on. Now, I'm sure that's not all the same students all the time, but it just seems like we have created an environment where the teachers are teaching the kids to pass the test rather than general instruction that would be beneficial to them in college or useful in life. And so I have a bill that simply peels that back and says we have to be compliant with the federal government, which is interesting that we did. Right after I filed the bill, Trump says he's doing away with the Department of Education. So I don't know, but there's actually a federal law that outlines it's not a rule from the Department of Education. It's actually a law of the test that we have to take. So it would say we will meet that requirement, but nothing beyond that. And so it's open for negotiation. There may be some things like someone pointed out to me real quick. I mean, as soon as I filed the bill, someone said, well, according to that would do away with the ACT. You want kids to take the ACT. So before I even put the bill on notice, I drafted an amendment that said, except for the ACT. I mean, of course, we want to pay for that. And so it keeps everything in place like we have for the ACT, but the other test it does away with. Now, when I was presenting that day, there were a couple other folks that kind of pulled me aside, and one of them presented his bill a couple of spaces before me that's actually doing the same thing. So there's several members this year that are all working on the same thing. Their bills are a little bit larger. Like at some point, we're going to have to sit down this week, actually, and compare our bills and probably merge them together and pick one vehicle to carry it, because you just can't. You can't have three people running identical bills. At some point, you have to consolidate. And so a friend of mine's got one that does what mine does. It changes the end of course testing to the ACT, and then it does a few other things. I've seen this in passing, but the major thing that it does is it deals with teacher evaluations, and it says high performing teachers don't need to be evaluated every year. You know, you can back off of them a little bit and focus on those that need to be evaluated, that are not scoring as well, and give some more time in between evaluations for high performing teachers. And that's probably the one. And his bill also does something else that I think is really good. I don't know if you remember, but Algebra 2 is really hard. I mean, it's a tough course, but right now it's required that you take that. And so for those that are not on the college pathway, it replaces Algebra 2 with 3 CTE courses that you could take. And so I like his legislation. I'm probably going to merge my bill with his ultimately, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is to free up more instructional time for our students and teachers, get away from standardized testing.
Okay, State Representative Clark Boyd with us. More in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's go ahead and see what's happening on the roadways. This update is all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Bates Ford has the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $59.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. $17.80 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Watching it build pretty good with that volume on I-40 coming in from Wilson County, Mount Juliet area on into Hermitage. It's gotten heavier westbound Vietnam Vets, trying to get past Conference Drive as that traffic flow picks up quite a bit out of Sumner County, especially through Hendersonville, headed towards Nashville. It's loading up 24 west up through the Antioch area. Hey, when you need dependable towing, call STR Towing and Recovery. Check them out at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Need a venue for your next corporate training, meeting, luncheon, or customer appreciation event? These are just a few of the event options that the Farm Bureau Expo Center can accommodate within its 79,000 square feet of adaptable event space. The Farm Bureau Expo Center offers unparalleled versatility for corporate events in Wilson County. Come on by and check us out. For booking details as well as upcoming events, visit farmbureauexpo.com or find us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Farm Bureau Expo.
Have you ever desired to live in a stately historical home in the Lebanon Historical District? If so, now you have the opportunity. This is Lou Ann Snyder of A.G. & Johnson Realty, and along with Ed James, we have a large 2-story home listed in the Cumberland University Historic District. It features a brand new roof plus a new HVAC system. Call Ed or myself, Lou Ann, at 615-444-0909 to schedule a tour.
We continue here on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us, and our thanks to State Representative Clark Boyd for showing up every other Monday here, along with State Representative Susan Lynn. I would like to have everybody here every week, I guess, but we don't have time to do all that we do, but seems like it works pretty good on alternate Mondays, and certainly appreciate you always being with us.
Thank you, Coleman. It's great to be here.
So let's pick it up. What else is going on?
Okay, so last week another big bill that I had was the bill that I've been working on with Tim Leeper, dealing with private prisons in Tennessee, and so he had an idea. I said, well, give me what you have, and it was a lot. And I said, Tim, I can file this, but this is a heavy lift. I mean, it's a lot of stuff in here, so there's a lot of things for people to push back on. Let's pick one thing that'll hit them hard. And Tim came up with the idea that let's make them reduce their inmate population if their death rate is above a certain point. And that's pretty clear cut. Who could argue with that? And that's going to hit them in their pocketbook because they get paid per inmate. Tim's got the figures, and I said, let's do it. And we filed it, and it made it through subcommittee 2 weeks ago. And then last week we went to full committee, and I've already whipped the votes. I've talked to folks on the committee. It's going to pass, probably unanimously. They like this, and so I think this is going to go all the way to the floor. I think this is going to become law this year. So we're working on it. Last week, Tim came down and was going to testify. There was a little bit of a glitch in our this. In hindsight, it's probably a little bit funny now, but at the time I was irate. I mean, I wanted somebody's head to roll for it, but we had gotten a verification that Tim could testify. I had the receipt in hand and everything, so I got up and did my presentation, spoke for a moment and said, I'd like to go out of session, let my constituent come talk. And they said, well, he's not on the list. And what happened is it had somehow in the system, he had been approved to testify, but it went to the wrong committee. And so he couldn't testify. But what was the part that's, I think is funny in hindsight, I think someday I'll laugh about it, but was Tim had said, hey, if you could have somebody ask me a couple of questions and I can answer them on the record. So I'd give them to some of my friends in the committee and said, when he gets up there, ask these questions. Well, they wouldn't let Tim testify. And then I started seeing them raise their hands, and they were getting ready. I'm like, oh, Lord, they're going to ask me those questions. And, and these are questions that Tim has done an incredible amount of research and knows. And so I kind of tried to wave them off. And then ultimately I said, let's just come back. It would have passed last week. But a big part of this is having Tim testify, let him tell his story. So we're going to do this again this week. It'll be on Wednesday, and then he'll at some point be doing that with Senator Pody in the Senate. But this will probably be the last time he'll testify in the House because it'll go to finance and then onto the floor, and he can't testify on the floor. But I'm proud of that bill. I mean, I think this is a big deal. It's been needed for a long time, and this is a bipartisan thing. I've not met a human being in the General Assembly that doesn't agree with us on this issue. So, well, let me move on to some other things. Coleman, there's a lot of things going on, but I'm just going to run through some of the things that have happened in the last week or so. So, in Shelby County, it wasn't too long ago that the city of Memphis had a school system, and they just folded up and shut down and gave it to the county, and it's been a bit of a mess since then. Well, we're probably going to have to take action, and they've got dozens of schools that are making D and F grades as far as the way the schools are, and there's a lot of money being spent in Shelby County with no results. And so we're probably going to have to take the school board over. The local school board would have advisory role, but the decision-making would be this new board that was put together. And so that is happening right now in Shelby County. It's unfortunate, but we've got to do that. The Shelby County Commission has already sent a no-confidence resolution against the school board saying we need help down here. The outcomes and the trajectory of the district and the kids that are there trying to get an education. And so we're probably going to have to do something on that.
Money is not necessarily the answer there, I take it.
Oh, I'm sure that if you ask them, they would say, we just need $1 billion more and we could get it right. But there's a lot of money. I mean, think of $1.8 billion for one school district. Now, they're big. They're a very large district. But we've got to do something there. And so that's probably happening. We have a member that's going to make it a Class A felony for human smuggling, and a lot of that's dealing with people that are being brought across the border illegally. Now, I don't know if you've seen this in the news recently, but the cartels are a big deal in Mexico, and yes. I went to the border. I think it was last year. It could have been the year before. I got a chance to go down there and tour the border. And we met with the local law enforcement, with Border Patrol and folks, and I had no idea. I had read about this in the past. I knew that they were some bad dudes down in on the southern side of the border, but they are organized and will recruit from the military ranks, and they are actually organized as a paramilitary organization, and so think, divided up into squads and platoons and companies and battalions, and I mean, you have almost
the cartel.
The cartels, yeah. You have almost a narco type state there. I mean, I would be afraid if I were the legitimate Mexican government that they might try to overthrow. I mean, they with a military force. And so a lot of times when people are sent to the border on the southern side in a law enforcement capacity or they'll wear masks. Because if they know who they are, they'll go kill their family. It's bad. Well, since Trump got in office, I mean, you've seen what's happened. I mean, he has shut down. I mean, in some cases, 95% less, which means it mathematically that means it's gone from 100 to 5, or 1,000 to 50, and so of crossings, and so the cartel is a business at the end of the day, and we are hitting their bottom line, and so there have been prices put on the heads of Border Patrol, cabinet level officials in the American government. I mean, war could break out. It's that bad. So having said all that, we're doing our part in Tennessee, and we are making it a Class E felony to smuggle humans. So should someone be captured or caught by law enforcement in Tennessee, and they're involved in that, they're going to go to jail. I mean, they're going to go to prison. And so it is a felony. And so we're working on that. It is a nasty business. And in fact, one of the things that I learned when I was down there is that they do it too with legitimate commerce. Like those trucks. So we were at a major bridge, and they said all these trucks coming across here, they have paid the cartels off, similar to what you would have seen in New York City 100 years ago with the mafia or the mob or something. Where they come up and say, hey, it's a nice store, it'd be a shame for it to burn to the ground. Okay, we'll pay you and don't do anything. And so they're paying off just to bring legitimate fruit and vegetables across the American border. And they say that they have about 90% of the avocado industry is under cartel control coming out of Mexico. And so that's what the statistics were at that time. So that's mainly a federal issue. But we take that pretty seriously here, too. And I just want to do a little shout-out for our sheriff, Robert Bryan. He went to the border as well, and he came back kind of almost a changed man. And he realizes that there's a lot of stuff going on here. He already knew that, but he's doing a great job. And so I wanted to do that. Another thing that we're dealing with, for some reason, Coleman, I don't know if y'all had riots and protests and everything back years ago, like they have since I've been to the General Assembly, but it just seems like these mobs will get together and in some cases, will completely block the streets and threaten people that are in vehicles. And, I can't imagine what I'd be doing if you took a wrong turn somewhere just trying to get to the interstate and there's a protest going on. And so Representative Kelly Kiesland from Byrdstown is taking what was a Class A misdemeanor and making it a Class E felony if you do something like that, if you're a part of a group that's doing something like that. And I think that needs to be done. You've got to make an example out of some of these folks that are getting out there and just disrupting public transportation. Public right-of-ways and passageways and things like that. So I'm very optimistic about some of these bills. I like them. I think they're necessary, and I think that probably should have done them years ago. And so we are now. My colleague from DeKalb County, Michael Hale, has got a bill. People oftentimes talk about food scarcity and hunger. So he's got a bill. He's trying to put together a grant program for higher education institutions. So this is college level. That if they have a food pantry or they partner with a community and create a hunger task force, then they can get some funding that would create food so that no one at the university level or college level would have to go without. We are honoring some of the folks that built the Capitol that for years we have seen people that have pointed out that the state capitol, some of it was built with slave labor, and so we are acknowledging that, and we're doing a bipartisan effort to honor them, and it would be a House Joint Resolution that would honor the folks that were that help build that. We've got a few things. Fentanyl is a nasty drug. It's very poisonous, and so one of our members is filing a bill that would further criminalize putting a child in danger. There was a situation up in his area where the police raided an area and got in and found fentanyl, and there was a child there, and the child just walked through it and got it on the shoe and touched it, or somehow got it ingested and died from it. And so he's doing that, trying to further criminalize that. And then there have been some issues with people being picked up by these rideshare taxi cab impersonating, just pulling up and saying, "Yeah, hop in, I'll give you a ride." And so we're increasing the penalty on that if you impersonate a taxi cab driver or rideshare driver. And some of these have not ended well for the people that got in the car, and so we're making sure to do that. And finally, one thing that has been asked, some of our city councilors in the city have asked me to look into this, and so sober living homes, they are trying to, under the Americans with Disability Act, qualify that as a disability, which means they could just put them in wherever they wanted. And so a lot of folks in Wilson County and in Lebanon have said there need to be more guardrails around where they go. So we do have a bill this year that would give more authority to local governments to determine where they can go to make sure that they can zone properly for that.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time here. I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks. Plan on it, and hope things go well.
We'll have some basketball to talk about then, won't we?
Yeah, won't we?
All right, Coleman, take care. Good seeing
State
you.
Representative Clark Board, that's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's got a little bit heavier in the last few minutes, but it's moving. On 24 westbound, passing Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway, you got all that traffic flowing in right now from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, up through Smyrna and Laverne. As you head towards Davidson County, it's picked up with more volume southbound, 65 down through Millersville, just in the last few minutes. Music City Pro Wrestling presents The Awakening Saturday, April 12th at the Valor Academy Gymnasium, 4531 Nolensville. Get your tickets now. Check out Music City Pro Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at myLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
We'll have partly cloudy skies for today. Highs will be in the mid to upper 60s. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the 40s, and then partly cloudy and warmer again for our Tuesday. Afternoon highs in the lower 70s. This forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
We welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company for a Monday, the 24th of March. And we're glad to see Gail Hellam sitting right here this morning, Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center, to tell us what's going on. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. You pay, Clark Boyd mentioned as he walked out, not on the air, he said, maybe next time we'll have some basketball to talk about. You pay any attention to the college basketball?
Zero.
Now, I've got my brackets here.
I see your brackets.
Who all had won. I don't pick ahead of time, but just I've got who's won here. And one of the things about this is possibility of having all four in the Final Four from the SEC.
Now, I know enough to know that's a good thing.
Yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. But we're ready to talk about what's going on out at the James E. Ward Ag Center, and in particular the Farm Bureau Expo Center, where you spend a lot of time and see a lot of people come and go.
I do. This last weekend was a very busy weekend. We had a car dance company come in, and they're like the production of the event, and then they have various studios that participate in that. So it was a busy weekend. I know our preferred providers in the main corridor were very happy because there was a lot of activity this weekend, which was great. And then, of course, I saw lots of cars around the Made in Tennessee building. I think something was going on there too. So, and there could have been other stuff going on, but yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Well, you even had something going on last Thursday at the that wasn't the Made in Tennessee building. Actually, I guess it's a 4-H
building. Yeah, the big announcement. Yep. And I missed it. I was like all set to go, and then I got sidelined with a couple phone calls. And
well, if anybody didn't know what we're talking about, Congressman John Rose announced his candidacy for governor of Tennessee.
He did, and I knew that was coming, so I was wanting to be there, but it didn't work out. So I was there in spirit.
But that didn't have anything directly to do with the building that you are, except there's a lot of crowd, a lot of cars in there.
A lot of cars, and I think it's pretty safe to say that John Rose definitely has a love of agriculture, and that primarily speaks to a lot of what's behind us at the expo. So, it's kind of a family orientation, if you will. I mean, we try to support them. They try to support us. So, it's exciting news.
Right. Well, what this is something I don't know whether we mention enough or not, but that is to check out your website at farmbureauexpo.com or go to Facebook, and you can find out about events, event details, leasing information, and more.
A whole lot more. Yes. Yes, a whole lot more. Matter of fact, you can send an inquiry in if you're thinking about wanting to book something at the expo. What a lot of people don't realize, we've had a shift and we've talked about it, but it's like anything else. You just keep talking about it because you never know who didn't hear you the first time. Mm-hmm. When you look at our calendar at www.farmbureauexpo.com, that calendar is the exact same calendar that we use for planning internally. So there's no more having to have a link to be able to add it to your calendar. You can if you want, if that's the preference, you can do that. But that calendar is live. So it's going to show pending, like we're working with somebody that we don't have that finalized yet. It's also going to have the finalized events. So that's important information to realize, because if you're looking at it and all the days are booked for the entire building, then you know that that's not an option for you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'd suggest maybe calling us anyway, because I do work very hard to have a set of resources available that if I can't help you, I'm going to try to get you with somebody that can. So, and we've done that multiple times.
Yeah. Well, it's a busy place, and it seems like it is honestly getting busier all the time.
We feel that.
I pass by there, it seems there's something going on.
Yeah, we feel that. And, we're in the springtime, so lots and lots and lots of dance competitions. We have a little bit of a different feel for this weekend. We've got Spring Thaw coming in. It's a little different tempo, different audience, obviously. And we are always busy, and it's really nice to see. I walked into a room for a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I always ask the question, okay, who in the room has not been to the expo? Nobody raised their hand. I was like, oh, it's working. It's working. We're getting there. We're getting there, because that's my goal, is for everybody to have a reason to come to the expo at least once a year for whatever event it is you're looking for. And we try to have that diversity so that we can meet everybody's interest.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being with us today. We'll do it again next Monday.
Actually, Jason will be here next Monday, because I'll be on special assignment.
Special assignment.
That's right.
We'll see you in 2 weeks then.
That sounds wonderful.
All goes well, but we'll still talk about the Farm Bureau Expo Center next Monday at our usual time.
Sounds wonderful. Have a great day.
All right. Gail Helen, Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center, and we're about 21 and a half before the 8 o'clock hour, and my guests are here for part 2 of Coleman and Company. Start out here with Joel Meriwether. Joel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
With Playhouse 615, and I imagine most of our listening audience has heard of Playhouse 615. You've been here a few times.
We have, yes.
And you've been doing this for at least a couple of years.
Oh, my goodness. 4 years?
Has it been that long?
Almost 4 years in June.
And we do have Ann Street Kavanaugh.
Hello, good morning.
And welcome again.
Thank
You have been with us before as well.
Yes, I have. Appreciate it.
Oh, I tell you what, why don't you move over, if you don't mind, move over here. I don't know if... Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. That's it. I'm not going to tell you what a stupid thing I just did, but I'll just correct it right now. Now, go ahead.
We're playing musical chairs. It's kind of early for this.
Now,
Especially with no music.
Right.
Come on.
Oh, I'm trying to operate 3 microphones here, and to be honest, I turned the wrong one up. So.
Oh, okay.
That's my first mistake.
You're forgiven.
Today. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And how are things with you?
Very well, thank you. Yes.
All right. We've got a production. I believe it's already started. Joel.
Yes, we opened Friday night, and it is called The Whale. It is the stage version of the film that opened in 2022 with Brendan Fraser playing the role of Charlie, for whom he won the Academy Award.
No. Okay.
It is a play written by Douglas Hunter, and Darren Aronofsky was the director of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about a homebound English professor who is trying to what is a good word? He wants to reconnect with his daughter, who is in high school, who he abandoned when she was 2 years old.
Oh, one of those situations.
Yes.
Which we do hear about every once in a while.
He left his wife and child, and he fell in love, and he went down that road. And so he is ready to meet his maker, and he wants to reconnect with his daughter.
So that's the setting for this.
Yes.
Does it have a happy ending?
It does not.
Well, I mean, there are some happy moments, and there is some comedy in it.
There is comedy, but he dies. So,
Joel Meriwether.
well,
come and see it anyway, even though.
Spoiler alert.
You just told them.
Well, if they've seen the film, then they know he passed.
But if they haven't,
okay.
Anyway, okay, we'll take this up later.
yeah, please do. Well, maybe a little difference of opinion of how much we're supposed to divulge about
exactly.
the play itself. Okay,
it is a play about redemption.
Yes,
there's comedy. It is a drama.
Well,
though.
what was the reaction from those who attended over the weekend?
They loved it.
Yeah,
they loved it. Yeah, it's very touching. He's grieving. He's very overweight because he is grieving and he is eating himself to death, literally. And so it's about him reconnecting with this teenage daughter, and she is mad. And
she's very
him finding
angry.
His way back and them developing a relationship. And
well, it takes some good acting and some good actors to really bring this out and do a great job.
Joel Meriwether is starring in this show. He's playing Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, was it well received?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it runs till April 6th, so there's plenty of chances to see it.
All right, let's talk about Playhouse 615, your location. It's where it's been, I take it.
Yes, at the Midway Center at 11920 Lebanon Road. So it's in Mount Juliet.
Yeah, Lebanon Road.
Mm-hmm.
How far from the county line?
Not very far. We're just down from 109.
All right, okay. But if you're on 70, Nashville Pike, whatever, you shouldn't have a.
Yeah, we're not far past where Mount Juliet Road meets Lebanon Road.
Okay, all right. What I haven't been there. What about seating capacity? How many?
We seat 55.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we've seated more, but we
kind of a standing room only.
Yes, exactly.
Get out some extra chairs.
Yes.
Yeah, we're an intimate space, and it's general seating, so there's no bad seat. Everyone gets a good seat.
All right. No reserved seats or anything.
Nope.
You just what is the admission?
You want to say it? It's $20 for adults, and then $17 if you're a senior or military discount. And I was going to say, if you will call the box office and mention that you heard us on the show today, we'll give you $5 off your ticket.
Okay, all right, $5 discount for mentioning Coleman and Company,
yes,
or Lebanon Radio, or whatever.
Whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be going through April on this. Is it every weekend?
It is every weekend, Friday night, Saturday night at 7:30, Sunday matinee at 2:30, and our final production for this play is on April the 6th.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we have auditions tonight and tomorrow night for a play that was written by the people at Second City in Chicago. And it is a parody. It is called Death of a Streetcar Named Virginia Woolf.
All right, so you got something going even while this one is inviting the public through April. You're still getting ready for the next one.
Absolutely.
So some people,
we are never
some
dark.
people at Playhouse 615 are pretty busy then.
I think we're all pretty busy.
Yeah, we usually have a month between each production, and during that month we are rehearsing the next show.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take our break right here, and we'll talk more with Joel and Ann in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. And this update is all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. And get a battery installed on most vehicles, $199.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Clearing up a couple of wrecks we had out here earlier. Here's what we're seeing. Heavier traffic flow in the last few minutes. 24 westbound at Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway, coming in from Murfreesboro. 65 is busy, but it's not as slow as we've seen it before in the past. They're up by Saturn Parkway, coming up out of Murray County into Williamson County now. 65 south is a little bit heavy down through Millersville. Hey, when you need dependable towing here in Middle Tennessee, call STR Towing and Recovery, strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Since 1982, Exmark has been dedicated to building the world's finest mowers. These machines provide you with a quality of cut that seems impossible, dependability you can measure in lifetimes, and an operator experience like none other. Because Exmark believes if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Visit your local dealer to discover a one-of-a-kind ownership experience and see the difference for yourself.
Exmark, done right, made for this. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, Lebanon.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
We continue here on a Monday morning, our final segment now, and if you joined us late, we're featuring here on Part 2, Playhouse 615, Ann Street. Kavanaugh is, Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Kavanaugh, all right, is with us. Well, she's been here before. I've just sometimes have a bigger problem with names than I used to. Joel Merriweather is with us as well, and the name of your production at Playhouse 615 on Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet. What's the name of it?
It's called The Whale.
The Whale.
Yes.
Just simply The Whale.
Yes.
Okay. But it's has a lot to do with real life.
Yes.
And you're the
I play the role of Charlie. Yes.
Charlie.
And Charlie is this housebound English teacher. He teaches critical thinking classes online, and he left his wife and kid 15 years ago, and he wants to reconnect with them.
Yeah.
And it's a story of redemption. He wants to redeem himself because he's about to die.
And do you have a role in this as well?
I do not. I've been sort of producer of it, I guess, just making sure they have what they need. And
well, again, the Playhouse 615. What is your? I'm going to write this down so I'll have. What's the location?
It is at 11920
11920
Lebanon Road.
Lebanon Road. All right. Mm-hmm. And you I guess tickets available at the door.
Yes, or you can buy them online at our website, www.playhouse615.com.
Yeah, and it is Playhouse 615 as our area code here.
Yes.
Correct. Yes,
just
not
the numbers.
615, which I called it one time.
It
when
gets
y'all
the job done. It's all right.
But how many people are involved in this with y'all, approximately?
Oh, gosh. You've got, 5 cast members? We had 2 stage managers, a director, my involvement. We have another person working on props, the things that they use in the show.
Someone running lights and sound.
Yeah, there's someone who's building the set and painting the set, which that was me, but still.
Most of the people involved live in the Mount Jude area, necessarily?
Some yes, some no.
Yeah.
We've got 2 cast members who live in Lebanon.
Okay.
They were unable to be with us this morning. We asked.
Oh, well, I guess that's good. It's good and bad. It's good you ask, bad you can't be.
Right.
Right.
And then Sydney and Memory both live in Nashville.
Uh-huh. Okay. You've been doing this for a while. You said 4 years, I
Yes,
believe.
4 years in June.
You have any particular goal when you started? Is it just some local theater, or what
we have sort of met some of our goals when Ann and I first sat down during the pandemic right after the March 2020 tornado. We decided we wanted to create a theater company, and last year we ended up getting our 501c3 tax exempt status, and we wanted to one of our goals was to start paying our actors, so we have done that for a couple of productions.
But that's been a special grant for those.
Right.
We're not able to do that just yet for every show, but that is on our list.
Yeah. Well, anything else about your background that our listeners might enjoy hearing, Joel?
I don't know.
What's your degree in, Joel? I'll interview him. How about that? I know the leading questions.
I'm afraid that might not work.
I know, I'm kidding. He's been doing theater a long time, as we both have.
You
Yes.
have quite a resume, I'm told, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your story, if you will.
Well, I went to college to study performing arts because the theater bug bit me rather young, and then I did professional theater.
Where'd you go to college?
Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went
Bowling Green.
Yeah. We called it Boring Green, but yeah, we not a lot to do. There's a lot more to do there now, but back in the olden days when I was there wasn't a lot to do. But then I did professional theater all over the country, traveled and did some small tours and that kind of thing, mainly musical theater. I did so much dinner theater that if I smell green beans cooking to this day, I need to break out into song, like for real. That's a joke. Nobody's laughing. Okay. And then and then I ended up coming back home for a while and doing some stuff, and ended up singing with Vern Gosden. Met him and toured with him and recorded with him and worked with him for a long time. That was when I was still Ann Street. I hadn't gotten married yet. But it was wonderful.
How did this come about, Playhouse 615? I mean, y'all, I'm taking it you knew each other before you started this thing.
Yeah, Joel had, I had done a show. He's a director, usually, and he had cast me in a show, and we just got to know each other and really hit it off. We'd known of each other for years. And
I had actually auditioned for Ann when she had a children's theater in Bellevue, and I couldn't do the role for my schedule was pretty bad at that time. I was busy, so I didn't get to actually work with her on that show. But we've worked a lot since. But we kind of birthed this idea right after the March 2020 tornado that went through Mount Juliet. It took my home, and offered very kindly for me to live with her until my homeowner's insurance could find a place for me to go. And so it was about a week and a half until I moved into a hotel. And during this week and a half, we thought, well, let's open our own theater company in the middle of the pandemic.
Very wise, very wise.
Well, you question moves like that sometimes, but apparently the timing wasn't bad, and you're continuing. And now, who decides? And by the way, what do you have? You have a performance every quarter? Is that what you?
We do 8 productions a year.
8 a year. Okay.
Yes.
So that's really 2 a quarter if you break it down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, isn't that a pretty busy schedule?
It is, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we still rent out some as well. Like if it's a new theater company that doesn't have a space, they could rent us for production. If somebody just needs a space like a theater for a speech or a gathering or whatever, they can rent us.
Has attendance been fairly good? I mean, I can imagine when you do it like you're doing the Whale here for this many weekends, that there might be sometimes when you're full and other times when you might not even be half full. What's that?
Yeah, that does happen, but we've been very fortunate this last year. We've really gained a lot of our core audience, and we sold season tickets for the first time this year. And
so there's quite an interest then in local theater.
Yes. And it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger since we started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the point that we are sold out on a lot of our productions.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, I know we've had different ones here in Lebanon in the past, and some of it's been quite in the past. I don't know of anything really that's going on right now, other than maybe occasionally at the Capitol Theater. But the fact that you're continuing here bodes well for 4 years and going strong. And now this, I don't know anything about this play, and this is not. I have a little bit bigger problem now with the hearing problem anyway. If I go, but there, it has to be a pretty good production or something for me to really be that interested. One of these days I'm going to visit, but I don't know whether I'll make this one or not. Pretty busy schedule here, but what I'm getting at, there seems to it seems to maybe come and go a little bit, but there's always interest in local theater, and you have people to come and try out, and I guess. Of those who do, you find a lot of talent, some of it that wasn't realized previously.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do a little bit of everything. We do comedy, we do drama, we've got a musical this summer. We try to do a little bit for everybody, because everything is not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, right. Well, your role here as Charlie, and
yes.
the guy who deserted the little girl.
Yes.
And then you come back, what is it, 15
years later?
Yeah.
Yes.
How when you are somebody on stage, I mean, you really get into being that character if you're a good actor. That's what I've been told anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you even think that part in a lot of your spare time or whatever. It's on your mind, and you are, to some degree, that person, aren't you?
You have to become that person on stage to be believable, because if we go up and we play Anne or we play Joel, we're not very interesting. But if you take
she says,
on...
speak for yourself.
Well, but yes, the best compliment that I can get is that they didn't see any of Joel in Charlie, that he completely disappeared into himself.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult role. It's probably the most difficult role I've ever played.
Yeah, but it's a very serious thing. I mean,
very
it's not,
serious.
It's not something really to laugh. I mean, not that there may be some funny lines or some, but it's a very serious.
Yes, this is a gentleman who has congestive heart failure. He is getting ready to die. He wants to reconnect with his daughter. His ex-wife comes along, and that makes things difficult because he didn't really want to see her.
I thought for a minute Anne might have been playing your ex-wife.
I wish she was.
Aw, that's so that's sweet.
Y'all been together in this with this production here for 4 years, so you probably know each other pretty well by now.
Pretty much.
Sometimes too much, yes, for sure.
Well, what's your next one going to be? You mentioned
our next production is a parody called Death of a Streetcar Named Virginia Woolf.
It's a mashup of a couple of different, of course, classical plays by the
when will it be, May or June?
That opens in May.
Okay.
May the 2nd, I think, is opening night.
Well, we've covered a lot of territory this morning, and we got a minute to go here, but it is called The Whale.
Yes.
And Charlie is the lead character, played by Joel Merriweather, who is here. And Ann Street Kavanaugh is the director.
I didn't direct the show. I'm the managing director of the Playhouse.
Okay,
yes.
Managing director of Playhouse 615.
Yes, I sort of produced
and
the show,
located at 11920 Lebanon Road, which will hold 55 people and maybe a few more if you have standing room only.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
And we'll give that $5 discount if they mention this show.
The tickets $20, $17 for military and seniors.
Citizens,
And what about children?
I would not bring a child to this show, to this one. Now, we're going to have other stuff that is good for children, but this one I would not.
Well, Ann and Joel, thanks for being with us this morning. Hope you have a standing room only crowd every night and on each weekend through April.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right.
Yeah, thanks so
y'all.
much.
That's it for a Monday. Please join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.